Welcome to the Value Proposition by the Fitness Business Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Pellegrino. The Value Proposition was created specifically for industry suppliers to showcase the value that they bring to health club owners and operators beyond their product or service. Today, we're going to be learning the value for engaging with members through events with Les Mills. I think it's safe to say that over the past year, we all learned the value of an in-person event, whether it be a concert, eating in a restaurant, going to work, or even attending your favorite workout class. As our lives begin to get back to a level of normalcy and your members transition back to your health clubs, it's more important than ever to capitalize on their energy and provide them with an amazing welcome back group fitness experience. Joining us today to share some best practices on exactly how you can accomplish this, we have Mario Tarquinio, Les Mills Customer Experience Director.
Hey, Sarah. Thanks for having me on today. Excited for the conversation.
There. And Vanessa Masser, Group Fitness Liaison at Connective Fitness Club in El Paso, Texas.
Hello, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thanks so much for being here, Vanessa. And, for today's episode, we are going to spend our 3 real minutes, or 3RM as we like to say here, on hearing the brief history of each company. So it's really going to be a 6RM, okay? You're each going to get your 3 minutes to introduce your company. So Mario, start us off with Les Mills. What do our listeners need to know about the history of the company and where you all are today?
Yeah, well, hopefully many of the listeners today are familiar with Les Mills, but those that aren't, we started back in the industry in 1968 with our first club in Auckland, New Zealand. And we've really been pioneers in fitness and group exercise ever since. We work with customers all across the world. We currently serve over 120 countries and currently over 20,000 club partners. And really our key focus is to partner with clubs to help them motivate their members to, number one, fall in love with exercise. And number two, we know that that's really the secret sauce to creating the healthiest business possible in the fitness industry.
I love that so much. And that's so spot on, Mario. And when we say the word launch, right, those that are familiar with Les Mills know that when you guys provide a new class to a health club or facility, there is a launch that goes with that, right? So no one knows how to do that better than Les Mills. So walk us through a new product launch and how that looked prior to the pandemic.
Yeah, I think, when you go back prior to the pandemic and someone says group exercise, I think the initial thought is, live group exercise in a big studio in a club. So, one of the new products that we rolled out, pre-pandemic was, to deliver these life-changing experiences, you need rockstar instructors, right? So we partner with clubs as well as help with an extensive education process for instructor certifications. So that instructor process has historically been an in-person process over a 2-day span that we shifted to being able to offer that virtually. So now it's created no boundaries for instructors to become certified in any location over the country. And it's been a raving success for club partners currently, and obviously new ones that have come on board. Wow. And that opens so many doors too, right? For people to get certified and just the feasibility of it. Absolutely. Previously you figured you have instructors potentially traveling up to 4 hours, 2 days to do an online certification or to do an in-person certification spanning 8 hours a day. So now you could do that, if you have the proper equipment from the convenience of your home over the weekend. Wow. I love that. Great point to make. Thank you, Mario. Now, what are your goals and responsibilities as a customer experience director with Les Mills? Yeah, I think it reverts back to us as a business, right? I think for us, we're just completely obsessed as an organization with creating repeat attendance in our partners' facilities. So, for me as a customer experience manager, I'm dedicated to help ensure that, each one of our club partners, has the right products, strategy, insight to continue to create that motivating experience and engage the maximum amount of members into social assisted exercise. So that's really what I'm steadfast in doing. And that can be a very complex role on a daily basis, but simply put, that's really what we look to do. And member engagement is more important than ever before. Hence why we're all here today talking about this, right? That's awesome. Vanessa, I'm going to pivot over to you. I would love for you to share the history of Connective Fitness Club with our listeners. How was the club born into the industry and when?
Well, our fitness clubs, Connective Fitness Club, was birthed around 2018 as a concept, and the funding started at that point in time. We basically began construction in 2020. and we finished our construction late 2020. So we were literally born and birthed during a pandemic. So we opened late 2020, and we have 7 fitness studios under one roof. That's one of our claims to fame. Cycling, CrossFit, yoga, Pilates, meditation. We have a circuit training and also a large group classroom, such as, for like body pump classes. We provide an all-inclusive fitness experience. We offer about 185 weekly classes. So you can imagine the logistics of keeping that going week in, week out. We have over 25, I think, fitness instructors and another bunch of personal trainers. And obviously it's a big facility with a lot of activity going on. One of our main things that makes us stand out as a company is our Connective Live, which is heart rate monitors that we use during live classes or during personal training sessions. So we track the data, and basically that gets put into your or the members' app. So they access real time the data of their workouts. They can look at it. They can work on that with their personal trainers, so on and so forth. So that's basically who we are and what we do.
That's fantastic. And Vanessa, with you being the group fitness liaison, what does your role look like right now? Right, you've opened the club, you're attracting members post pandemic. What does that look like?
Well, I am a group fitness instructor to begin with. I turned into a liaison, and now I'm also sort of like a special events coordinator. Again, when you have a brand new facility, it's kind of like you wear many different hats. What's going on this week, and that's what you focus on. So, one of the main things that we do is, I'm responsible for the Les Mills launches, which we've had one so far. Earlier April, it was amazing. It was just an incredible turnout, just fantastic. Part of what I did, half of our instructors that were part of that launch were new to Les Mills. So just going through the process of easing, nervousness and just saying, hey, we're just going to have fun. We're going to this should be fun. And it is fun. So that's part of like my responsibility, just working with a lot of the new instructors and kind of like getting them acclimated to what Les Mills is like and what the community feels like and what the process is like. We're also looking at our class schedules and programming and looking at, hey, you know what, this program is doing amazing. We need more certified instructors. So let's bring in a training. And next month, we're actually going to have a trip training because the trip is rocking it out in our gym. So we're like, we need to open up more classes because people want more classes. So that's kind of like what it looks like for us right now.
That's amazing. And then just for context in the conversation, Vanessa, what Les Mills classes are you offering at Connective?
Currently, we are licensed for Body Pump, Body Combat, and we recently added Body Flow. We are also in the process of onboarding Les Mills Core, which I am so excited about, one of my favorite programs. And then in our tour studio, which is the cycling studio, we have RPM, Sprint, and the Trip. And I can tell you that all of their programs are doing fantastic. Like I said, the Trip has been amazing, an amazing response from our members. I had not experienced it before, and definitely we have waiting lists. Whenever the class opens up, it gets filled up right away. So those are the programs that we're currently offering, and hopefully we'll be adding some more in the future.
Sure. I have seen the Trip in 3 different facilities now. It's a great experience every single time. So love to hear that you all have that. That's fantastic. All right. Well, thank you both so much for providing us with company history and role descriptions in order to provide some context for today's conversation. Les Mills is focusing on the power of events, specifically getting members back to live events while also using digital to support the live experience. So Mario, over the past year, it's no secret that group fitness experience went from in person to on demand in most cases, right? So what was the most impressive way that Les Mills supported clients through this transition, let's say a year ago?
Yeah, I think, just looking back, right, the last 12 months, the industry saw shutdowns, across the board due to COVID-19. And, I'm happy to report, from a Les Mills standpoint, we responded with creating and launching 3 new solutions for our club partners to leverage to really, number one, support, their instructor teams, as well as make sure that they're supporting their members on their journey and keeping them from falling into that sedentary lifestyle. So, to further expand, Sarah, on some of those products, the 3 of them, what they contain would be, number one would be our new Les Mills On-Demand affiliate program. This is where clubs can create a holistic fitness journey for members by providing at-home workouts via the Les Mills On-Demand ecosystem. And on the back end, receiving a portion of revenue sharing for each sign up associated with that brand's ecosystem that we've created for them. So members have full access to our Les Mills On-Demand ecosystem, including all of the Les Mills workouts. So 13 formats, over 1,000 different workouts that we consistently refresh and update on a monthly basis, including the training programs and, most importantly, the community support inside of that platform. We've also launched newly enhanced live stream workouts. So what that really means is our club partners that traditionally would deliver our programs in person in their facility, we went out there and purchased the cover music that allows them to deliver those workouts to their members at the convenience of their home, at the platform that they prefer. And we know there's a lot of options out there, right? So leveraging the social media platforms of Facebook and Instagram, and as we're doing today, Zoom, right? Which has been a popular platform for many to engage in a digital setting. And I think the last one, we've really been steadfast at creating conditional, high quality video on demand options. So we've recently launched our new app-based content called Les Mills Content. What this allows clubs to do is to bring the amazing Les Mills workouts into their own ecosystem. That becomes very valuable because now it's programming that comes directly from the brand. It also allows that club to set the price point for those members to adopt that new digital solution, and gives them full controls of an additional revenue stream that has been very valuable for a lot of club operators during their shutdown times to keep revenue coming to the business. And now, more importantly, as they reopen and members return, really complementing that flexible consumer journey that I think a lot of consumers are now more opt to stay on, or say they're going to continue on that journey. We're really proud, to report on the Les Mills On Demand aspect of that content, that we just reported that Club Intel reported that 31% of the clubs utilized that platform during shutdown in conjunction with our live streaming workouts. It was actually the number one most popular third-party option available in the marketplace over the last 12 months. Wow. And just some teaser, right? So I talk about these 3 solutions. We're continue working to increase our program offering and our portfolio offering. So we're currently working on a couple boutique offerings right now. So we have a functional training option. We have a box run space that currently lives in our Les Mills New Zealand locations. So we'll continue to explore how we can expand and maybe bring those here to the market in the coming months and years. And I think from there, it's listening to our partners and ensuring that we're delivering value where they need it most at this time.
Wow. Okay, Mario. So I have about 2 or 3 comments because you've just given us so many great nuggets to work with there. So, okay. So am I correct in saying that Les Mills had those on-demand offerings ready to go, ready to unleash right around the time the pandemic was happening? Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say we were better positioned, I think, than most. And when I talk about the Les Mills On Demand platform, that's been in existence for a few years now. We recognized years ago that, having consumption direct to consumer was really vital to drive members to our club partners, right? So that has existed. The affiliate portion of that, we really expanded quickly and evolved quickly. The other 2 options, obviously, we had to create on a dime when we first got word of the shutdown. So, the live streaming music, we acted fast, and really the Les Mills content's been, a journey for us to create that. And I think we all recognize music licensing has real ramifications in this road. So working through that. So those have been things that we've quickly adopted, and so to speak, had a couple of them available pre-COVID.
I love that so much. When you talk to a club owner or facility operator, you talk about partnering with a company that really is ahead of the wave and on the ball. I mean, that's what you all did. You were ready and then you were able to move very quickly to your clients' needs. So that's awesome to hear. And the music rights, I mean, you hit the nail on the head right there. We saw so many group fitness instructors go virtual, and then that gets you into what music are you playing on your Zoom workout, right?
Yeah.
Dangerous territory. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mario. Great insight there. You know, Vanessa, I would love for you to speak to certain ways that Connective Fitness Club pivoted as you are opening, right? You're not opening with the same model that you were maybe prepared for in 2019. So have there been any fun, creative ways that you are able to offer group fitness solutions now?
Yeah, you know, during, I guess, the shutdowns and obviously the construction of our actual facility, we came up with something that was called Connective Saturdays. And again, it was a live experience. I think that the club was pretty much committed to keeping the focus on live experience. Like that's at the heart of the club and our philosophy. So what we did is, you know, came up with this concept of Connective Saturdays, where they would invite the community, they would set up a workout at a public park, mostly, and they would have some sort of structured class go on, bring some equipment, have social distancing, you know, that kind of stuff. But, you know, bring some snacks, bring some like merch to give away, and then just, you know, blast the speakers and have music and have people just do a workout, break a sweat. And that was actually a very, it was a very cool experience. There was a great turnout, and it worked out really well for us for that season. And I think a lot of it was creating an anticipation also for, oh, if this is what it's going to feel like, can you imagine when the club opens? What is it going to, you know, look like and feel like when we are able to go and gather in there with a full facility, full equipment, and all of that.
You imagine when we can go to 7 studios under one roof, right? That's awesome.
Exactly.
And I like the name. That is awesome. Well, thank you. And, you know, Vanessa, as you are starting to transition back into the club, right, we're doing some classes inside now. What are you seeing with your members when it comes to their comfortability and desire to return to an in-person live experience?
You know, it has been our experience. I think we have been surprised. I'm going to say that's like positively surprised by the turnout. We've had about a 300+% growth from the moment we opened to now. So we know that hosting live events has been a key to you know, new acquisitions. We started very early on. We continued that tradition of a Saturday event. Like I said, our Les Mills launch was the biggest event because we had 8 classes, 12 instructors. It was a 4-hour event, you know, where you have people come in and leave. So that was huge. But every Saturday we have a mini event where we focus on one class, one instructor, a smaller group, where, you know, guests can bring, members can bring a guest, and we've continued, you know, we've continued that tradition. So opening up the doors and basically just letting people know, hey, you can come check it out. You can come see our safety, you know, procedures in place and just get the feel for what we're doing to keep everything sanitized and clean and safe and comfortable for everyone. I think people who were ready and are coming out, or were curious, or were getting ready, those are the people that we've acquired. And we know there's other people who are still not ready. So, you know, we'll keep promoting, you know, on our social media, we keep promoting not only the events, but our safety measures and what we're doing to keep people safe on a regular basis. We're like reinforcing, hey, this is what we're doing. And then we live by it. You know, we have a pretty big custodial staff, and we clean every classroom, sanitize it after every single class. So our team is amazing at keeping the facility not only beautiful and clean, but you know, inviting, and so that people can feel comfortable coming back to the live gym experience.
That's such an important point, Vanessa. For our April value proposition, I chatted with the CEO of MX Metrics, and it was so interesting because he was like, it's not just important to clean, it's important that your members see you clean and see other members clean, right? So that's very, very interesting point too. You have this big, beautiful facility, so it's new and shiny, but is it clean? Let's keep it, that's such a huge point when you're talking about attracting members, right? It's a great
Absolutely.
point. Great.
Absolutely. And we've got to make it a point. You hit it, right in the head. You've got to make it a point that you're consistent with your cleaning solutions, that you're, it's not something that happens just because you had an event or, and that's been a big focus of our facilities team, like making sure everything gets clean. And we're all, held accountable to, if you finish teaching a class and nobody's coming to clean, then call someone. We've got like 3 different modes that we communicate. It's like, let somebody know they need to come in. So we do that on a regular basis. It's really become part of our culture.
That's awesome. And it has to, honestly, to succeed today. It really does. Yeah. Mario, I would love to hear from you. I know that you are helping manage, clubs and facilities all over the US, right? So I'm sure you're seeing a little bit of everything based on state restrictions. We're not just talking about Texas now, right? We're not just talking about Florida. We're talking about the Californias, the New Yorks, and everything in between. So, what are you seeing overall, like as a member comfortability average going back into the club?
Yeah, no, I think thinking back these last 12 months, probably the toughest thing was understanding all the state and local restrictions, because they were different across the board, right? Which poses kind of how we would support clubs in different ways. But really, when you talk about member response, I think we can sit back as just humans and individuals and recognize that we crave human connection, right? So I think the big thing that we're seeing as restrictions lift, you're seeing a significant increase in, member confidence. Those that choose to come back to the club, they're actually coming back to the club more frequently than ever. And then, when we see that specifically in the group exercise space, that's posed a really great opportunity for a lot of clubs to win back their members. Seeing that they're coming back at a higher rate than most. There's still challenges, right, with capacity, things like that. So I think we'll be really excited as restrictions completely move away, as the country's confidence comes back. We anticipate, fitness live experience to be bigger than ever. And hopefully what this pandemic has really done for us as a country is exposed more people who weren't previously exercising to the power of exercise and how that actually can create the greatest defense, against, viruses and, illnesses. So we're excited to really, bring on more fitness seekers inside of our partners clubs here post-pandemic.
I love that. And it exposed the power of connection. You see what I did there, Vanessa, with K? Mario, talk to us a little bit, I'm assuming that you are seeing a hybrid fitness model. You're seeing people that want to come back to the club. You're seeing people that want to stay working out at home. How do you, as a Les Mills steward here, how do you make that happen perfectly for your partners?
Yeah, well, look, just to touch on a hybrid workout, right? That's a certain term or really model that's been really spoken about here probably the last 12 months, recently 6 months. Hybridization is a big piece of that. Just to create clarity to my answer here, when I say hybrid fitness, really what I'm referring to is, a club creating offerings inside of their 4 walls and also being able to distribute those same offerings outside of their 4 walls, right? So, I'll take this back. We talked about Les Mills on Demand. I'll take this back to 2019, where we at that time, which I think was the biggest consumer study in fitness done, we actually pulled 20,000 consumers. And really one of the biggest things that we learned is that 85% of those consumers that were brick and mortar gym members were also exercising at home. And 2/3 of them were utilizing some sort of digital app. And remember, this is 2019. So if you actually look at the math formula there, it's 50% of brick and mortar members were doing some sort of digital hybridization complement to their brick and mortar routines, right? So, I think we've understood that as an industry. And I think as operators, there's probably been some understanding that, we've allowed that share wallet to those digital app companies from our members. But really what we've known and what we learn now more than ever is that a member's fitness journey is not confined to 4 walls anymore. It is not. So I think for us as operators, and, partners in this space, it's important to really challenge the way that we've traditionally operated and how we've really catered to our members. It does need to be a truly integrated fitness experience moving forward for clubs to have a material impact. So in the road of workouts that have no boundaries, and obviously members calling the shots for how they're going to consume, we want to make sure that we're helping clubs do that. So what we've done, Sarah, specifically, is we've really created a full ecosystem that allows clubs to bridge the gap between live and digital experience. We've developed a full ecosystem of products that I think we believe we've created the ultimate group fitness solution. What that consists of, and I think I mentioned some of it before, would be the Pinnacle, live group exercise, instructor-led programming. We're bullish that is going to be the desired way of, moving forward. But we've also recognized that there's technology that allows you to attract more fitness seekers and engage them more frequently. And one of the other ways is utilizing virtual classes inside of your studios, which, Vanessa and the Connective team do a phenomenal job in their tour studio. That allows you to leverage, your group exercise studio that's typically dark 60 to 80% of the week. Now you can create amazing cinematic workouts in there for consumers that are coming in those time slots to be able to attend. So you're attracting new consumers, you're creating a path of scalability along their fitness journey, leveraging virtual and obviously scaling up to the live experience. And then obviously the adaptations of the new content solutions I discussed that we rolled out this year with the video on demand via the affiliate platform through our Les Mills on Demand ecosystem, or for those clubs that are ingesting our Les Mills content and embedding it to their own ecosystem. And then lastly, which I think is extremely powerful, is live streaming. Creating that royalty-free music option for, those rock star instructors to be able to create that experience inside of, those attendees' homes. Which we also see as a power to continue to connect, and we'll be consistent in creating those offerings for clubs in the future to continue to hybridize their business and leverage technology, more important, to engage members along their fitness journey.
Honestly, Mario, that's like everything, like yes, 100% to everything you said. And one thing I really want to highlight, and I love that you clarified the hybrid experience, because I think it can really get misconstrued. What does that mean? And so, to provide the same experience, whether you're in the four walls of your gym or if you're in your member's living room, right? Like that is very important. I think that can get into pretty gray area there. Like, is it the same class? Is it a different class? What instructor? Like that. So thank you for clarifying that, and how the context when we're talking about it with Les Mills, because I think that's wildly important. So great point.
Yeah. And something you mentioned there, Sarah, just to touch on it, because I can go a little bit deeper on, is the consistency, right? That product consistency of in club to out of club becomes key. And I think also I talked about hybrid being a hot topic the last 12 months. You know what else goes along with that? Differentiation, right? You hear a lot about how to differentiate yourself in that space. And, I think the last time I checked, there's currently 350,000 fitness apps available for a consumer. Right. So really what we know and really what we've determined through many, many years is that the quality of content is going to be the biggest determining factor of the club's successful digital solution. Right. We've been in the business of creating content for a long time. I actually think we've gotten quite good at that. If you actually look at some of our filming, the content is now in a cinematic space. We're very close to the live experience that we're creating. And we continue to step up our game. Each workout release that we do on a quarterly basis, how we film it to ensure, I think, reverting back to number one, people are falling in love with the workouts. And number two, desiring to repeat those workouts. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mario. All right. So I would love to know both of your thoughts on the idea of using live events as a way to get your members back to the club. So Mario, I'm going to let you run with this one first.
Yeah. Well, let me lead us off with a statistic for you, right?
So we love all the data. Keep it coming.
Yeah. We talk a lot about the digital, right? So we leveraging the Les Mills on Demand ecosystem. Recently we pulled, all of our subscribers there. And a stat that we learned that I think was encouraging and very happy that we saw is that 63% of those users were interested in trying a live class when their gym or facility reopened, right? So
wow, that's huge.
That's encouraging, very encouraging. So with that being said, I encourage clubs, more than ever, to welcome their members back, create a menu of live group exercise, that meets current CDC restrictions, obviously cleanliness and hygiene, to create a safe space for that. But we've recognized there are members that desire that return. So creating that space, it also becomes important for clubs, right? One thing we need to do as we reopen is to regain our revenue streams, right? So one of the ways to do that is to not hold back with the offerings that you had pre-COVID. We want to be able to bring those back very, very soon. And I think there's some ways that you can leverage some really great, retail and promotion campaigns to re-excite and re-engage members to return. And there's going to be a whole new crowd of fitness seekers in your community that now, as I mentioned before, recognize the importance of health and fitness more than ever. How do you create a fun and exciting and safe environment for them to come back to? So definitely encouraging, those type of things happening. But also I would say the one thing to look at is recognize consumer habits have changed. But as an operator, how do you use that to your advantage to really leverage a consumer's willingness to try something new? So I think it gives operators the ability to really think out the box and create new strategies that help support that new fitness journey.
100%. Leverage it, take advantage of it, and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Right, Vanessa? Connective Saturdays. I mean, that is a fun thing. As a member, that's a fun thing to experience. Vanessa, I want to know your opinion here. What are your thoughts on using live events to get members back into your club or into your club, maybe for the first time with a new facility?
Right. Like I mentioned before, this has been definitely a key element of for our club and our mission to just bring people back to experience have a live experience. And like I said, we are a brand new facility. So we need to make sure that there's traffic, that people are basically coming and checking us out because they have no idea what it is. They have no idea what we offer. They have no idea how we are different from anybody else if they don't come in and see it. Because, there's only so much, the internet can show. So yeah, like I said, we've been doing Saturday live events. And just this last week, we started basically making Sundays once a month. We're going to open up the gym and be like, members, bring a guest. Like you can come to a class, you can come to a personal training session, you can come and just like check out the gym or hop on the cardio machine and walk or something. And we're hoping that just by people coming back and having that ability for them to come in and check it out, they'll build that confidence that, this is the right time, we can come back. I do want to mention that I think it's super important that you bring back the fun into fitness. People can work out anywhere, but when you bring a couple of people together, again, you blast out the speakers, you have an awesome rock star instructor leading you through a workout, like that's the magic sauce. That's like, man, like, sign me up, because people get excited. And I think we have recognized that. We've always known that, but again, through pandemic, we are craving. People that were already addicted to working out in a group, they're like, they can't wait. Then even people that were not there, they're like, hey, I kind of miss people. Like I want to do stuff. They're more open to it. So just make it available, open up. And again, you can use social media. You can we've hired a marketing firm to help us get the word out. And that's been a great success. Tap into your partnerships, super important. Like when my boss tasked me to, hey, launch, I have no idea what this is, but you do. So boom, go with it, run with it. I was like, well, I know what launch looked like for me before at a different gym, different everything. So I called Les Mills and we set up some meetings and they walked me through, they prepared these campaigns and they met with me, they gave me some guidance and they said, no, maybe try this, maybe try that. And that helped a lot. And again, it's a partnership. So they help us, right? And there's other partnerships that you can tap into. So don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to maybe try old things again. Like you just gotta create that momentum, that excitement, that energy. When people are ready, they're ready. And people that are not ready, it takes some time. And I feel like it's as a fitness industry, it's our great opportunity to start inviting people back into this space.
I love that so much, Vanessa. And you set me up perfectly because I wanted Mario to dive into supporting marketing material and just campaign ideas that Les Mills will help their partners with. So Mario, can you expand on that one for us?
Yeah, well, I think I'll take the old adage that you can't sell a secret, right? So marketing becomes a big piece of it, right? Yeah, as far as Les Mills standpoint, that's a big piece that we provide to our club partners, right? We have a full marketing suite that I'm sure Vanessa and the marketing team are very familiar with and leverage very well. But it's really to support campaigns, as Vanessa said. We're really, our models exist around launch events every quarter. So you have a bunch of assets from a marketing standpoint there, but we can actually create retail campaign offers that our club partners can execute, week by week with all the right assets, where to post that, how to do that. So, look, when we step back, when we talk about planning an event, that starts 8 weeks in advance, right? The marketing, the planning, the roles, who's doing what, and also, attaching some goals and targets to that, and then we start the marketing campaign. That campaign will not only go through the launch event, but we actually have a 3 to 4 week support campaign afterwards, right? To leverage, acquisition, member engagement. We've learned that, those members that do attend group exercise, they're the most engaged members inside your facility, and they're the most likely to refer friends and family members. So there's a lot of ways that we leverage that through supporting. And I think if you look at our most recent campaign that we're supporting clubs, it's messaging that's relevant to everyone. It's the fastest way back to peak fitness, right? That's our retail campaign that we're offering this month. We not only provide all the marketing aspects from an experiential marketing support campaign, but we also provide, marketing assets around hygiene and cleanliness that, clubs don't have to go out there and create themselves, that, they can print off, or they can use the digital imagery for that. So, we've expanded to not just be marketing, but how do we support, the environment that our club partners are currently dealing with right now.
Fantastic. All right. Are you guys ready to play our rapid fire value proposition game today for planning a live event? This is a new thing. We invented it on this episode. Super excited for it. All right. So club owners and operators that are listening today, and they're like, all right, already. I'm ready to do a live event. I'm ready to welcome my members back and have some fun with it. What do I do? Make that really simple for me. What are those action item steps that I can take to get members back in my club? Okay. So Vanessa, I'm gonna let you answer first, and then Mario's gonna answer second for each rapid fire. That way we'll run right through this. Okay. So how much time should be put into planning a live fitness event?
Okay. How much time?
Yep.
I'm going to say, Mario's going to disagree with me, but I'm going to say 4 weeks if it's a big event. Honestly, I live in the reality of the gym life, which is crazy. So sometimes you got to pull it off in a week, like if it's a smaller kind of event. Sure. Especially if you develop that sense of expertise, like you can do it. A Les Mills type of event that's bigger, more programs, more instructors, then you definitely need around 4 to 5 weeks, somewhere in there.
Awesome. Fair answer. Mario.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'll answer it slightly differently. I would look at your organization and your brand and think about what's the annual launch calendar look like, and pick those dates there. To Vanessa's point, yeah, pre-event, once you figure that out, the theme, the cause that maybe you're supporting as well. Yeah, I think, 4 to 6 weeks before is plenty of time. I think when I say 8 weeks, it's preparing the marketing, right? How do you create excitement, engagement, and leading up to that? So, but the actual event itself, I think, look at it holistically as a year, break it down by quarter. And I think that allows you to be able to move more consistently. And then obviously each event, there's going to be things that you check the outcomes, right? And they're going to check the box. They're going to overachieve. There's going to be things that don't hit the number that you had there. And you use those as learning opportunities. So now you have the formula, and now you're just going to switch a couple elements into the next launch. So hopefully as you continue to launch, that time goes a little bit less and less, because you have the formula, your players are in the right roles, and they're obviously playing at the highest abilities. Great
point. And you may have new staff doing this for the first time. You both have mentioned that previously in this conversation. So great thing to keep in mind. All right, Vanessa, are you making members register for this live event? And if so, how are you doing that?
Yes, we do have a booking system for our classes. And like I said, and that's one of those things that we're still learning. We're new. This is a new thing for us. But for those type of events, we had guests register themselves. and I'm sorry, I keep saying guests, our members register themselves, and then we added a +1 to the capacity, and then we always made sure that we save room for people who are not associated with a guest, like a walk-in or somebody who calls and says, hey, I saw on Instagram that you're doing this event, I want to come to this body pump class. So we're saving spots for those people too, and they could reserve mostly via phone call or just stopping at the gym for people who did not have an account, who could not book into it. And like I said, that's something that's it's still fluid. We're still trying to figure out what's the best way.
Awesome. Mario, any recommendations on other ways you can have your members and their guests register for live events?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I'm a huge fan of registering, right? Knowing who's coming to attend, member-wise, and then, hey, what friends and family members are they bringing with them, right? So those guests don't get lost in the guest shuffle, right? And we can actually differentiate a member versus guests and how we obviously approach them from a service experience when they walk into the door. I think that's really important for clubs to think about. The way you do that, I think there's no better way today than technology. I look at my phone and recognize the app. So if you have, those connective, solutions in your facility, leverage those. If you're doing it, via phone calls and you're putting it on some sort of accounting system in your CRM, great. There's too many digital ways to do that to keep track of it and obviously track follow-ups. I think that's important. I just would recognize, members coming into your club, guests coming into your club. How do you cater to them and show them the right experience that they want and deserve? And I think the other piece to that, when you're looking at it, is how do you actually, create an opportunity to show some, exclusivity, right? Having a cap on your classes, an urgency to actually enroll and sign up pre the event. That's very important. So think about how do you do that without deterring anybody. It's about creating incentive for more people to sign up. But yeah, as Vanessa mentioned, we're not going to turn people away if they show up without a register for that day and that event.
Probably wouldn't go over very well.
No.
All right, Vanessa, let's hear the top 3 people that you are going to have work with you to plan this event.
Instructors, sales, marketing, and your partners, whoever that is.
I like that.
Best meals.
You're going to make Mario drive all the way from Dallas to come help you, right?
Absolutely. It's only 9 hours. Okay.
True. Mario, how about you? Who are you seeing involved in planning live events?
I think Vanessa nailed it. I think the one that I'll say that sticks out that most people probably don't is your onboarding staff, right? Those that are potentially greeting your guests. Can they speak authentically to the event, what it is? Can they speak authentically to the programming that you're offering and who it actually is right for and what the results would actually be creating by taking that class? I think that's really important. There's got to be a cohesiveness between your onboarding staff, your service staff, and obviously to your training staff of instructors and PTs. So I think, having everyone involved is the critical thing. But I think the one thing that I usually hear that it's not involved is your onboarding staff, sales staff, whatever you look at. And I know just connecting with Vanessa, that's something they did a phenomenal job with, is just everyone in the facility, regardless of department, they knew the role and they knew how it all kind of coincide to create an amazing experience, which is obvious of why they've had the success they had off their first event.
Or they knew the program, right? Every staff person does, even cleaning, do they know? Yeah. Could they explain body pump? Could they explain what this live event is and why it happens, right?
Yep.
Good practice for your instructor, and it's amazing education.
Yeah, and I would absolutely. It's probably of my over a decade of running health clubs. That's a miss that happens. I can call that out. And how do you create maybe a fun activity in your meetings about education of product knowledge? So that's the ways that I used to make it fun. Yep. And you're right. Like even the housekeeping staff, they might be the ones that have the best connection with that member, Mrs. Smith, that's going to walk up to them and ask them a question about what's going on there. Can they even speak authentically to the event and the program? So great call out, Sarah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Vanessa, are we hosting said event outdoors or in a different space, or are you bringing them inside your health club? Just pick one and give us why.
Oh, just pick one. Well, let me tell you, we are building up a rooftop running track in our facility. It's not open yet, But I keep telling them we need to synchronize our Les Mills launch to the grand opening, like kick it in the morning with the launch, and then do our evening like inauguration or something. But
and you need to invite me because that sounds amazing.
yeah. We actually will have a little mini bar up there, going on.
I love it.
But it's going to be fantastic too, once we have it. And again, it's in the rooftop, so it's outdoors, so we can have a little bit bigger capacity because we still have certain capacity restrictions, if you will, even indoors. Not just because of space, but because of things are still going on. So we're playing it cautiously right now. We're not packing like at a Les Mills live event where you pack people like sardines, cleaning, pressing like this. We put a little bit more space between the benches and whatever. But once we do it up on the roof, we'll have a lot more space.
So what I love about that so much, Vanessa, is that's someone can hear that and be like, oh yeah, I just put a ton of money into my new outdoor studio. Let me have a live grand opening, if you will, event for my new space within my club. Genius. Mario, how about you? You're in Texas. So let's say your club's in Texas. What would you do? Indoor, outdoor?
I would have the launch where I can hold the most amount of people taking the class. That would be my answer, right? So if my studio is big enough to do that, great. I can remember the days of, being in Texas, spring weather's beautiful here. Obviously you get the 75 to 80. I can remember renting stages to put in my parking lot so that I can have, 100 people taking a body pump class or a body combat class. So yeah, leverage space. If you have it, if you're in an area where the outside temperature and the elements are at your favor, leverage that. If you have a gym, a basketball court in your facility that you can double the capacity, that's it. The more people doing something in secrecy when it comes to exercise, the more powerful that event will be and the outcome as well.
Love it. All right. Are we going to, now this one's tricky. Are we going to live stream this event for those at home? You have to say yes or no and then why. Vanessa.
I would say at this point in time, no, because we are seeing a very good turnout, bringing people in. And again, we're trying to showcase our facility. So in our case, sounds like a great idea, and maybe we'll do it down the line, but at this point in time, we probably wouldn't.
Not for a specific event, that the point is to get members in the club.
Exactly.
Got it. Mario, you agree?
I'll disagree. Just to disagree, right?
Play devil's advocate for us.
I think look at this, Vanessa, they have a brand new club. They just opened it in a sense, a little bit post-COVID, right? So the reference there and experiences driving members in. But I think for clubs that have existed, pre-COVID, the reality is that you have a percent of your members that still haven't come back, and there's a confidence issue. You're not changing that, but there's a desire for them to still be associated with those live events that they used to love. There's going to be friends and family members that probably are comfortable in there. So yeah, if you can create an opportunity to engage as many individuals associated with your brand or fitness seekers in your community, it will only best serve you in the future when it comes to your success of the business.
Fantastic. Thank you both. All right. Are we doing anything, or how about, let's say this, one unique thing you would do? It could be decorations. It could be a prize offering. Vanessa, what fun thing are you doing to really entice people to get there? Give our listeners some ideas here.
Okay. All of that, all of the above, definitely. But honestly, I think one thing that we tend to forget is that, Les Mills program kind of sells itself. So make sure your instructors are on board. I feel like that's our biggest selling point, the instructors, the live experience. So focus on that, making sure that the instructors are comfortable, they're excited, they connect with people in the audience, and then involve your members as well, just to invite friends and family. Like personally, in our, first launch experience, we did, do the balloons, we brought some snacks, but it was kind of a priority for me personally, since I kind of ran the event, to keep the budget low because it was the first one. And I wanted to show our management, our owners, that even without the bells and whistles, if you have good instructors and great programs and it's organized, like we can still make it successful. And I feel like now when I go back, I can justify a bigger budget based on the fact that, and we can add more stuff. But I didn't want to add distractions and, bring the palm trees and, all this other stuff that I mean, it would be beautiful, but let's focus on the basics, make it fun, make sure your instructors are, are all in, and they're feeling confident, and just, go with that. Go with what you have, roll with it.
I love it. And use that as a baseline. Look what I did with a very small budget. Right? All right, Mario, how about you? Anything to add there?
Yeah, I think Vanessa nailed it. I think start with nailing the basics, right? You gotta nail the basics, themes. Absolutely. I think if you can differentiate the day, right, a little bit from an average day for the member, that's important. But yeah, it doesn't need to be this grandioso budget. You could do things very, very easily. And I think one of the things we pride ourselves as an organization is that's part of that branding aspect that we provide our partners, right? And just creating experiential. I think the big thing, like, how do you leverage social media? How do you leverage your ambassadors, your instructors, your PTs, every team member, and then your amazing members? And I think there's just so many things you can do that aren't of a high budget quality that can really engage. So leveraging all the different channels, leveraging technology, leveraging every individual inside of your brand to be an advocate and ambassador for that event.
Mario, talk to that. Talk to how you can ask your staff members to truly market for you. Is there a way to do this? Is there a way to do this and still control the message, right? I know, like, owners and operators giving staff members control to market on their own social media, like, that can be a very sticky area. Is there any way to smoothly do that?
Yeah, good call out.
On it like I see it. That can be rough.
I think it's good. I think I'll step back though, and I'm thinking about my 15 years in this industry and all the different individuals I work with in clubs, out of clubs, all that thing. And I think what so many of us have in common is this burning passion for fitness and what it can do to individuals and how it can impact their life in a positive way. So, that passion's important, but yeah, you got to put some controls on it, right? But I think each individual person has their own brand. They have their own, community that are following you. So, what we recommend is, we have some high quality branding opportunities that we actually recommend to be provided, from someone like Vanessa to the specific staff with a specific message that they would be posting, on their social media platforms. And yeah, leverage the tagging, leverage the sharing, get that message out, outside of your drive radius. I think that becomes really impactful.
I love it. Thank you both for playing the first ever value proposition rapid fire planning action item game. I will I'll get that name down a few words next time we play. All right, 2 last questions. I want you both to answer them. Vanessa, let's start with you. What mistakes have you made or have you seen operators make in attempting to bring back live events? How can you help our listeners not make that same mistake?
I think it's really important to recognize that not everybody's ready. And we need to be okay with that. Not everybody's ready to come back to a real life experience. I think we need to continue to communicate, your options. If you have, virtual options, if you have events or open houses, or, and again, continue to promote your safety precautions and your systems and that kind of stuff. So recognize that not everybody's ready to come back to the live experience. Definitely on the other side of that, like, we're fitness, we're fun, we're all about bringing people back into gym. Let's get fit again. Let's get healthy again. Let's focus on our goals. Like, don't let the last year define your, the next 20 years of your life. Like, pick up where you're at. Let's move on. So that needs to come. That needs to come. I think just keeping it positive and keeping it moving, and I think inviting people into the world. Come and check it out. Come and check it out. Come and see, what we're doing now.
Vanessa, that is so important, and it really piggybacks off of, do we live stream a live event, right? Like, you really don't, like, well, yes, you want people to come in, and the people that are ready will, but you do not want to completely exclude those that simply are not comfortable. Great point. Mario, how about you? What's one mistake you're seeing operators make?
Not bringing back live programming. That's obviously the biggest one, right? I know
That's
that.
a good one.
Look, I'll call it out. There's restrictions that do create some really challenges from a cost to serve standpoint. I'll recognize that, but to disregard bringing back, some of the live experience in the club, that's probably the biggest mistake. Because I mentioned there is a group of individuals that desire that want that. Even if you can't have the 50 people in your group exercise classroom you had before, leverage other spaces, make shorter duration classes, do more of them. There's different techniques to do it to still be able to serve those who want to be served. And I think the second piece to that, Sarah, is now with all these digital options that I would say probably pre-existed, they've done a great job, high quality content, really great rock star instructors. What are you doing as an operator to make sure that the experience that your members are having when they come into your four walls is by far better than anything they can do at home? So how do you level up that experience through studio design, through equipment? There's a bunch of different ways to do it, but give them experience that they desire coming back to your four walls for.
Beautiful. That was awesome. I love it. And that's the secret sauce, right? It really is.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're in a motivation business. We need to make people fall in love with exercise, not do it for what it does for them outside the facility.
Love that. Love it. All right. If you, Vanessa, had to pick one way that live fitness events are just beyond powerful, what would that be? It can be something you've seen. It can be a personal experience. What is just one reason we're getting back to live?
Okay, I think there is nothing compared. You cannot compare anything to the energy and the synergy that working out together brings. Great music, a great, safe, effective workout that people can follow and do together. And, good equipment. And it's just, it's inspiring when you do that in a group. Like I always tell our members and my class members, you don't need to be motivated. You just need to show up. Like once you show up, you'll get motivated here. Like that happens.
We'll motivate you.
What's that?
We'll motivate you.
We'll motivate you. And honestly, like, I'm only half of the equation. It's us working together. There is just something beautiful about people standing next to each other and challenging each other and just going through it. I think that is the secret sauce. Like we are community people. We need that. So that's powerful to me. Just doing this together, sweating together, enjoying the moment. And yeah, that's awesome.
Mario, how about you?
Yeah, it boils down to me something called the group effect. It's something I think we've coined here at Les Mills. We do a lot of, research, and one of the things that we were really interested is, what happens in that group setting when you have a lot of like-minded individuals working out together. And we've coined it the group effect, right? And what it is when you combine what we do as an organization by, creating, science-based, exercise programs, paired up with really cool, motivating music, the right choreography that's repeatable and you can gain momentum on, and obviously leveraging that rock star instructor. What we've learned is that there's a huge impact on those individuals. Overall satisfaction goes up significantly, right? They all feel better, they work harder, and they really, number one, or most importantly, they want to come back and do it again. So, getting people in a group to exercise is extremely powerful. And obviously, the research has really shown us that.
It's a magical thing, isn't it?
It is.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you, Vanessa and Mario, so much for everything you have shared with our listeners today. And thank you all for tuning in to hear the value proposition for engaging with members through events. Be sure to register for the Les Mills May webinar, Membership Growth Through Engaging Events, in order to interact live with their customer experience team and take this conversation a step further. So you can go there and you can pick Mario and his team's brain about everything they see, right?
Yep, can't wait. Looking forward to it. Bring the questions.
The webinar will be Wednesday, May 26th at 1 p.m. Central. 2 p.m. Eastern, and the link can be found on the Value Proposition tab at www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Tune in June 18th for our next episode of the Value Proposition. And to show we walk the talk at the Fitness Business Podcast, all resources, videos, and links for today's show can be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, adding value to our FBP family. Until next month, what you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others. See you next time, FBP family.